Hey, Cowboys Nation! Welcome back to Cowboys News TV, your #1 source for all things Dallas Cowboys. I'm Bill, and today we're diving into a topic that has sparked endless debates: why waiting to pay Dak Prescott is not costing the Cowboys more cap space. Before we dive into the details, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. Your subscription is incredibly important to us and helps us reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers. Join our community and stay updated with the latest Cowboys news. The financial discussions about Dak Prescott seem to never end. Why are the Cowboys waiting so long to pay Dak Prescott? That's a question almost every Cowboys fan has asked. It seems puzzling, right? The front office of the Dallas Cowboys loves Dak Prescott. They also love cap space. So, why would such a frugal organization take so long to re-up on their franchise quarterback when he's only becoming more expensive? Today, we'll shed some light on the puzzling modus operandi of the Cowboys front office. When Prescott signs his new deal, he will likely become the highest-paid player in NFL history, surpassing Joe Burrow, who signed a 5-year, $275 million deal last offseason. When the news breaks, some will complain about Dak's playoff history and how he doesn't deserve as much as Burrow, while others will point out that the Cowboys could have gotten him much cheaper if they had just been a little more proactive. But today, we're not here to debate whether or not Prescott is worth the money. Instead, we want to explain why waiting a little bit longer does not actually hurt the Cowboys. That may not seem very plausible, but we're going to get into some numbers and help clarify this. Prescott's contract will be larger. His signing bonus, guaranteed money, and average annual salary will all be larger than it would have been had the Cowboys signed him this time last year. That clearly makes him more expensive, right? Not so fast. What we must take into consideration is the economy, the NFL economy. The salary cap continues to rise. That's because the NFL is a profitable business that brings in money hand over fist, and with greater revenue comes a greater share for the players. The salary cap currently sits at $255.4 million, and over the next 5 years, that amount is projected to grow another $100 million. These numbers match what Spotrac.com uses for their estimates. The key takeaway here is that the cap is increasing, and when the cap increases, so do the salaries of NFL players. This is important because even though the price of a player's contract is larger, this quarterback inflation we think we are seeing doesn't actually decrease the purchasing power of NFL teams because they have more cap space. Let's get to some numbers so we can better explain this. Last offseason, we saw 4 franchise quarterbacks take turns becoming the highest-paid quarterback in the league. Let's review. April 17th, Jalen Hurts, $255 million, average annual salary equals $51 million. April 27th, Lamar Jackson, $260 million, average annual salary equals $52 million. July 25th, Justin Herbert, $262.5 million, average annual salary equals $52.5 million. September 7th, Joe Burrow, $275 million, average annual salary equals $55 million. Host, you see what's going on here? Each new contract creates a new baseline for the next one. Teams that got a jump on re-signing their QB saved some money as each new deal raised the bar. The smartest players and agents will be the ones who can hold out the longest. For the player, getting a big number is important. For the organization, maintaining its purchasing power is important. The Cowboys don't care about paying Prescott more overall money if it doesn't affect their purchasing power. To understand this, we need to look at total QB cost versus total cap space for the duration of their contract. And because we can project future cap costs, we can calculate how much of their team's allotted space they will take up. Money will be moved around and cap percentages will change from year to year, but if these quarterbacks play out their contracts, they'll cost roughly 19 to 20% of their team's cap space over those 5 years. So, what does this mean for the Cowboys and Dak Prescott? It means that Prescott could become the highest-paid player in the NFL, exceeding Burrow's $55 million annual average salary, and still be more affordable to the Cowboys unless he hits the $60 million mark. Here is a breakdown of some potential new deals for Prescott and how they compare to recent quarterbacks. Could Prescott command a $60+ million deal right now? Some think yes, while others think that might be a tad high. If he does, then the Cowboys front office will have cost them some spending power by dragging that out, but it would take a contract that large to do it. Here are the projected annual average salaries of franchise quarterbacks that would provide their team the same level of purchasing power from year to year. Understanding these relative costs is important because it makes more sense why the Cowboys front office isn't in a hurry. And when we hear things like, the price just went up, we now know that's not always the case. And one final thing we wanted to discuss before we wrap this up, leverage. We've heard ad nauseum that Dak has all the leverage. Is that true, or is this just another fallacy? The leverage Prescott has is about as strong as it can get. The Cowboys absolutely do not want him to hit the open market. With no option to franchise tag him, Prescott's cost next offseason would elevate even more if he has multiple teams interested in him, and he would have that. That's basic supply and demand. The Cowboys do not want that to happen. At the same time, there are reasons Prescott might want to get a new deal done too. These include new money, more guaranteed money, and long-term security protecting him from injury, which might resonate with him considering the last time he was in a contract year he suffered a gruesome foot injury. Additionally, Prescott's stock is rather high right now coming off an MVP-like season, so there's not much he can do that would move the needle forward, except for having some postseason success. So yeah, Dak's got leverage, but both sides have plenty to gain by getting a deal done and even more to lose. A new deal is right around the corner. Don't be floored by the astronomical numbers you see. When determining if the Cowboys got a good or bad deal, remember these three important factors. A quarterback's price is their price. There is not much wiggle room for negotiations. Contract prices rise from year to year without affecting the purchasing power of NFL teams. The cost over the entire length of the contract must be taken into account. So, just because Prescott will command a contract exceeding the annual average salary of Burrow doesn't mean it will hurt the Cowboys and their allowed cap resources. Cowboys Nation, what do you think? Are you worried about Dak's new deal? Do you think the front office is playing it smart? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and share it with your friends. Let's keep the conversation going and see what everyone thinks. Let's take a deeper dive into how the salary cap works and why it's such a critical aspect of NFL team management. The salary cap is essentially a limit on how much teams can spend on player salaries in a given year. It ensures a level playing field and promotes competitive balance across the league. Every year, the salary cap is adjusted based on the league's revenue from the previous year. The more money the NFL makes, the higher the salary cap. This year, it's at $255.4 million, and it's expected to grow significantly over the next few years. This steady increase in the cap means teams have more room to sign players to lucrative contracts without sacrificing their ability to build a competitive roster. So, why does this matter for the Cowboys and Dak Prescott? Because waiting to sign Prescott doesn't necessarily hurt the Cowboys. As the salary cap increases, the relative cost of Prescott's contract decreases. Even if his contract is larger, it takes up a smaller percentage of the overall cap space available. This means the Cowboys can still afford to build a strong team around him. Let's look at some historical examples. When Aaron Rodgers signed his big contract with the Packers, it was one of the largest in NFL history at the time. But as the cap increased, his contract took up a smaller percentage of the Packers' cap space, allowing them to maintain their competitive edge. The same principle applies to Prescott's potential new deal. As long as the salary cap continues to rise, the Cowboys will have the flexibility to manage their roster effectively. It's a strategic move by the front office, and it shows they're thinking long-term about the team's success. Now, let's talk about how this affects the rest of the roster. Signing a franchise quarterback like Prescott to a big contract can sometimes mean other players have to take pay cuts or be released to stay under the cap. But with the cap rising, the Cowboys can afford to keep their key players while still paying Prescott what he deserves. This brings us to the concept of cap space management. Teams like the Cowboys have entire departments dedicated to managing their salary cap. They use advanced analytics and projections to plan out contracts and make sure they stay competitive. It's a complex balancing act, but it's crucial for long-term success. Cowboys Nation, what are your thoughts on cap space management? Do you think the front office is making the right moves? How do you feel about the potential new deal for Dak Prescott? Let's get a conversation going in the comments. And don't forget, if you're enjoying this deep dive, hit that like button and share it with your friends. As we wrap up, let's summarize why waiting to pay Dak Prescott isn't costing the Cowboys more cap space. The NFL salary cap is increasing, giving teams more financial flexibility. A larger contract for Prescott takes up a smaller percentage of the overall cap. Strategic cap space management allows the Cowboys to maintain a competitive roster. Thanks for sticking with us through this deep dive into NFL economics and cap space. We hope this has shed some light on why the Cowboys front office is taking their time with Prescott's new deal. Remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any breaking news and in-depth analysis. Your support is what keeps us going, and we appreciate every one of you. Until next time, go Cowboys!